Perfect. So, hello to all the viewers. Welcome to Grit Meets Growth. Today, we are joined by Dwayne. He's the founder of Master Edge Homes, a design build renovation company based in Markham. Dwayne has built a reputation for transforming homes with quality and creativity. We are very excited to hear about his journey and the insights in the renovation industry. So, welcome, Dwayne. Thanks a lot for taking out your time to do this, and obviously, we are really excited about this one.
Thank you for having me.
So, okay, so as I mentioned, like we'll just dive into the questions. So I'll start with the first one, right, which is like, how did you think about starting a home renovation service business? Like, out of everything, how did you figure out that you want to do this?
Well, my journey, as most small business owners start off as a technician or technical side, where we know how to do the physical job, whether it be managing or building, and specifically into my industry. I didn't actually have any business training. I thought, well, how hard could it be? The business itself is 20 years old, 19 plus years. So let's just round it up to 20 years. But the beginning was really because I had done construction management for 12, 15 years before that. I felt that there was a need to change the industry, and that was to go from non-professional to a professional side, aligning myself with partners that would, do the work for me, my plumbers, electricians, form work, framing, roofers, and so on. But I wanted to find the professionals to help me be more professional. Um, my whole journey through college, studying construction, to where I am today has always meant to me that this is a professional industry and it should be treated that way, as should the clients accept a professional process for the renovation or custom builds that they get. My journey starting the business really was I need to stay out of trouble. Really, how can I keep myself busy and stay out of trouble? I just built a house myself. My wife was pregnant with our second child, so I need to keep myself busy, but doing it professionally. And so started the business, and it was just myself. I was actually on the tools. I was physically working. Not even I was doing that, but I didn't even do that before I started the business. I was management of a large company, developing land, and so my journey got me to working on the tools again, which I'm okay with. I don't mind it. I'm not there anymore. I can't do that. But and then I hired an employee, and it kind of grew from there. And next thing you know, is I'm managing a company that I didn't even know how to manage a business, and that's where I had to learn how to run a business.
That's great, right? Like, I guess the biggest thing that you're trying to say is like, since you're doing this, like you knew the ins and outs of it because you obviously did that physically first. You understood what's needed, and then obviously the rest of the things were there to be figured out because that's how any business is, right? Like, obviously, whenever someone gets into it, no one knows what the journey would be like. But I guess that's the most exciting part as well, that figuring things out, making sure that ends are being met, things are being like companies growing, clients are happy. Like, I guess there are maybe hundreds of things to be figured out, but initially it's just about the drive to do that. And then obviously, if you are doing it in a space that you know more about, that definitely helps. Like, because even I did the same, like before starting a marketing agency, I worked in one for almost 3 years where I learned how to do things. And then it's been 3 years for me starting my own agency. But yeah, it's a similar sort of thing of understanding. Obviously, yours have been a much longer one where you have a lot more experience. But
Are you saying that because I've
uh,
got gray hair or white hair?
no, you mentioned like you did that for 15 years and now you're doing this
Yeah,
company for 20. So that's the major, obviously, like, experience really counts, right? So that's definitely a difference. But yeah, learnings are important from one sector going into the same. So yeah.
I graduated in 1990 with construction management background. You can only see one of them, but my diplomas, one is for construction management, and the other one is for being a red seal carpenter. So I do have both, which allows me to do a lot with my career if I really want to. Um, Business ownership, I think it was in the back of my mind to be an entrepreneur at some point of my life. I just didn't know when, and then just something triggered, had to do it, jumped off, and started the business. And I think um, in doing so, the journey was blood, sweat, and tears, and we hear it all the time. You learn as you go. We'll never stop learning. Blood, sweat, and tears. Well, there's reality to that, and sure, as a business owner, not understanding the business side, which is what I'm telling my children that you need to learn business if you want to get involved. That's the journey that I'm now actually pushing towards the colleges in our area to make sure they have training and understanding of leadership and business development in their courses and programs.
That's great. Like, yeah. Like you said, at the end of the day, it's about learning the business, understanding. Again, it seems like a lot of times you're like just getting to know theoretically helps, but then obviously when you do it, there are lots of other things that you haven't known about, which you discover, and then you get better at that.
Yeah.
Cool. So then obviously, right, like as you mentioned that you started the business, it's been a long time, but since it has been a long journey, there would have been a lot of challenges as well. So what has been, let's say the maybe the top two biggest challenges for you and how did you tackle to them?
Um, I would say, other than COVID, I didn't even want to say the word today, but it has happened. Um, Other than that, I think the biggest challenge is understanding that as a business owner, and you think that you're going to, run a design team, or you're going to run your construction team, or you're going to manage finances. Your biggest challenge that I have encountered, which I'm okay with, is the management of people. And we don't realize it as small businesses, that your day to day is really managing your employees' expectations, your not your clients, your employees, and your employees are critical because they are what's going to drive your business to success. And so, finding the right employees, getting them in position, the onboarding, developing their skills, pushing them forward to build your business with them and their skills the way you see fit. And then also, I think a part of that challenge is understanding that you need to change as an owner, as a manager, and being able to develop and listen to whether it be younger generation, others coming in from other industries to work with you, whether it be design or construction, or other even in the same industry, but they've learned from others how to do things. And of course, we have a written document that tells, we have a document that tells us what it is that we want our business to be, and how we do things. It's a, kind of like a code of ethics of standards that we believe in. But others come in and they may have something great. So there's an evolution of that. I think that's a kind of a combined challenge. Um, the other challenging part that I see, and I've learned over the course of a few years, is that all businesses have the same challenges. We all have competitors, and how to compete to be in the right market space. And so for us, we're custom. We work from the mid to high end. We don't work on the lower end. And so for us, it's navigating the client's needs to making sure that they're getting what they deserve, but also in a sales process, helping them understand that they're going to get what they deserve for a different price. And they may not like it, but it's that sales tactic navigation that I found over the years I've developed. I am the salesperson for the company, and I've developed that over the years to become better and better so that I can easily navigate that with the clients and not so much lose deals as much as I used to, 10 years ago.
That's like these are like spot on at the same time, very let's say very deep as well, like some of the sales things, right? Like obviously people think that sales is let's say just about um they're just about selling, but obviously there are lots of things to be taken care of, how you are talking to the customer, how you're presenting yourself. So Yeah, right. Like these small things that really seem insignificant, I guess, are more important than,
Yeah,
let's say, the other aspects. But yeah, these are really important. And obviously, COVID, obviously, right? Like for businesses, it was hard. I can understand that you wanted to take that as a separate thing because it was not something that can be controlled because like that's a thing that happened. But yeah, the other two are really important ones to learn from and then obviously tackle them.
yeah.
Great. Cool. Then obviously we talked about business, we talked about sales. So now obviously the next element is what are the different, let's say, channels that are driving revenue for your business? And when I say channels, I mean everything which is organic, of which can be digital, anything that is helping support the business, so that anyone who's looking to start their own business can look at all those to grow.
Um, we do spend time more recently than before reaching out to our past clients, keeping connected with them. I'm not good at that. I would strongly suggest somebody who is, excuse me, starting a new business, making sure that whatever um, projects they work on, that they spend time nurturing those projects even when they're completed. Keep the communication with them. We do have newsletters that go out periodically, speaking to our past clients. But I think picking up the phone, speaking with your past clients is a great connection, and they'll appreciate that. Um, so our business runs, I believe we're running at about 43% referral right now, which we're okay with. I wish it would be a little bit higher, but we're in our community. It's a down market, so we're working on another avenue, which is now we're working with Facebook, Instagram, Google. We're doing a lot of networking right now. So BNI, um, and I literally just came from a board of trade gathering where I met with 100 different people in a room, learning about all different businesses and shapes and sizes. And so there's a lot of networking going on right now. And I strongly believe that had I done the networking mm, 15 years ago, my business would be a different business right now. Probably where I want it to be in 10 years, I would already be there right now with the networking. So I think networking is critical. Everybody has Instagram and the Facebook and all that stuff going on. But I think the networking is going to be a piece of the puzzle that a lot of business owners don't realize that they need. And sorry,
Correct.
just to continue, networking outside of your industry. And so over the years, I've done a lot of networking with my industry professionals that I know. So other business owners like me, and we learn from each other. But the reality is they're the same industry for me. So they're not necessarily going to work with me to build my business. They're going to work with me to help me build the business side, the section of understanding business. But let's build the business and more leads and more generation. And that's the thing where you got to get outside of that, which is a comfort zone. Get outside of that and get into the networking outside of your industry.
That's so true, right? Like obviously you talked about BNI, and obviously I would want to know more about BNI and the role that it has played as well. But just for as a part of a question, like you talked about Facebook, Google Ads. So, is there a particular percentage of, let's say, leads that you get from the digital means, which can be Google, Facebook, Insta, all of that?
We don't get any. We get some leads from Facebook. Nothing really tangible. They're we call them tire kickers. That doesn't really work well for us, but at least it's branding, keeping us in front of the public's face. We Instagram is more similar lines. Google, we do get leads through Google, which transform into some potential projects for us. So they're on the lower end of scale. Really, our networking and our reach outs to our clients, our past clients, is really the driver for us.
Cool. So since you talked about BNI, I mentioned as well, like what sort of a role has BNI played in your complete sort of a journey till now?
So I am fairly new to BNI. I think I had started going back in June of 2024. So I've only been there for 4 or 5 months. It's new to us. The role it's played is we're there weekly. It's an in-person meeting. I have 25 salespeople in the room with me. I'm building their trust. I'm not selling. I'm not selling a gadget. I'm
Yeah,
selling a. I'm selling a 200,000 to over $1 million project. That doesn't come easy, and the reality is, from that, it takes time to nurture that relationship to gain trust. Um, and I believe that that journey will come through. We have received referrals, and they take time to nurture. But to me, it's that networking and building trust with my 24 other salespeople. And actually, a week ago, I basically stood up in front of the room and I said, "So as you all are my salespeople, and we want to drive sales, this is what I'm expecting from my sales group today," sort of thing. So I kind of use that as a tool, but it's true and it's reality. Um, the part it plays for us, it is really we're building trust in the community. And that is a big thing because any business can't survive without trust. And they have to have the trust of their neighbors, their colleagues, their employees. Everybody has to believe in the same thing in order for you to gain their business or referral.
so true. Yeah, right. Like at the end of the day, when it like we have to also understand the type of business, let's say one is a part of. If it's something that's visual, that can be a product that can be directly sold, the type of business that you can get will be different from the ones that is more in terms of services. And then obviously the high ticket price obviously it takes even more time for that trust building and then obviously getting in that sort of business.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's true. And so, like again, right, going in the same lines since we're talking about marketing and sales, the type of business that you are in, right, which is let's say house remodeling and all of that cool stuff, right? It's but this is not a product that anyone needs right away, right? Like let's say if I am a t-shirt brand, I can just say that this is a cool t-shirt that has come out, just buy this, right? This is very different because you
Yeah.
can't really know when someone is looking out for let's say obviously there can be a few like there can be a small set of people that you know that are going to let's say buy a house or are going for remodeling, but on a overall basis, there is not a particular process of understanding when someone is going to buy or let's say remodel their house. So, what sort of marketing strategies, like since you mentioned about newsletters and keeping them updated, what sort of marketing strategies you use to, let's say, be on top of mind for those sort of people so that whenever they are looking for your services, they can contact you? Because as I mentioned, this is a very different product than anything that can be sold out directly. It has to be a lot of recall that needs to keep on happening so that people know that they can avail their services.
Yeah. I mean, to your point, if somebody's going to go out and buy a sweater, they might buy a sweater a year. If somebody's going to renovate their kitchen, they're only going to renovate their kitchen every 15 to 20 years. So, yeah, I mean, the area that we live in, which is the Greater Toronto Area in Southern Ontario, Canada, this area there's a high population here, which there's a huge amount of housing. The housing stock there's a lot of new and there's a lot of old. So we have a lot to play with here, but that also means there's a lot of competition as well. So how do we market to get people to call us? Well, we have a fantastic website. Our website really presents itself well, so we're very professional on our website, the way it views. Our blogs, we write professional blogs. So we're painting the picture for the clients or the prospects or the viewers as a professional manner. Um, when I speak to people, if I'm in their home and we're doing a prospect meeting, they're coming away with, wow, this is a very professional organization. I go looking like this versus just coming off of a job site. And that's somewhat of my competitors do. So there's a professional image, there's a professional way we do things. We're transparent with our financials for the clients, which is important, especially when they're going to indulge in a $500,000 change to their home. It's one of the biggest, aside from building their home or buying a home, it's one of the biggest investments they're going to make into anything they do, because it's a lot of money to make changes to a home. So we work really hard pushing the professional side. Our newsletters, as I mentioned before, and anything that we put out on the internet from Instagram or Facebook, it talks about, um, we do have videos. We talk about some of the challenges we face. So it shows the professional side. I'm okay doing videos. I don't do them very often, but when we do put them out, they go well. We push out our before and afters as we get photos coming in. So it shows that there's a real way. But I want to reflect on something different, in that I actually viewed a house, a customer of ours from 10 years ago reached out to me and asked me to come over and look at, they want to do a small project because they trust me. They want me to come back. So I went back to their home, and it was on a Friday night, 4 o'clock. I was there for 3 hours. We just talked. We just talked and enjoyed our conversation. We had spent 6 months working on their house. They invested $550,000 on their home with us. They absolutely love everything about their house. One of the things that we did not do, and it wasn't a part of our contract, was their kitchen. We didn't have anything to do with their kitchen cabinetry or countertops. We managed it. We helped them get through it. But every part of that house 10 years later looks as exactly as it was when I left it. The kitchen was not. Actually, the kitchen was falling apart. And so it made me very proud to see, the not so much the failures of somebody else and their job, but what I saw from my side was, this is incredible that our product, our process, everything we developed from beginning to end is still standing the test of time. And they have two young children, which are running around that house, and they had a dog. So it made me very emotional to say, our process, our product is standing the test of time to allow our customers to still live in that home as it was the day when we gave it back to them. Now, what I want to do is I want to somehow put that back out into social media, because to me, that's incredible, because it doesn't happen very often, specifically in our industry. I hope that
That's
answered
so
your
true.
question.
No, it does, right? Like that's obviously that covers a lot of aspects. And but the biggest one that I really want to take away is the last thing that you mentioned, like 10 years and like no change, and the only change that was visible was from something that you didn't do. So obviously, right, like all of these things really matter. And as you mentioned about some of the marketing initiatives, which is like showing before and after, this is a great before and after story because before and after it's still the same after 10 years. So that's also a great story to add. So yeah, I can understand what you are trying to say, and therefore there's a difference when it comes to selling products or let's say things that are not a conventional sort of thing that everyone just buys, let's say every month or every few months. So, yeah.
It kind of goes back to the first part of our conversation of this segment, was the sweater. You can buy a good
Yeah.
sweater, and how long does it last you, versus you buy that and it turns into your favorite sweater and it lasts you
Yeah.
longer, right? And
So
it's the quality, it may not be the process and how you got there, because it's a smaller process running into
yeah,
a store
yeah.
buying a sweater. But for us, most of our projects, we meet with the client, and we're spending 4 to 6 months with them before we even put a shovel in the ground or a hammer to their walls. That's an opportunity for the customers to really engage with us, to learn more about us, really hone in on the nuances of expectations from each other, before we even, so that beginning contract is a lot smaller, you know, anywhere from ten to $30,000. But then we're going to get into 200 to over $1 million of a contract. Well, this is an opportunity. It's an investment in their home as their design package. investment in their home to know what they're going to get, but it's also an opportunity to learn about each other's nuances, their expectations, so that when you do get into the real weeds of building out that renovation or home, you can already work together, right? So I'm fortunate that we have a process in place to work our clients through that, to get them to, we get to know each other better.
For sure. Make 100% sense. Cool. Then the next question that I have, which is a really important one for our listeners and the viewers, is what is one advice that you would like to give to a youngster who's looking to start a business in home renovation?
Ha, don't, no, I'm kidding. I would say, so I actually have a co-op student starting with me tomorrow. He's coming from a college, and he started construction. He's studying construction management, the same program I graduated from
Oh my
34
God.
years ago.
Okay.
And I'm going to be doing this question you just asked me will be a part of our next 50 hours with him. We'll be talking about that. And to be honest with you, I my biggest thing is, which I wish I had, was business training. I had some sort of a business background. That would have probably helped me a lot in the early years, because all of us are jumping into us, as I mentioned before, as a technician. We know, and this is actually coming from a book, and I can't remember the name. Somebody out in the audience can probably remember that. Actually, sitting on a table at my house, I'm trying to read through it, but you're a technician, so you know how to do the job, but you don't know the other side of it. And so you need to understand all facets of the industry or the business that you're in. And so if it's manufacturing, if it's HR, you need to understand what it is that you do. You can do that well. Okay, now what don't you know how to do? And understand what a business needs for all of those pieces. And if there's 10 hats that you have to wear and you know how to do two really well, then set them aside and then work on those other 8 hats and learn it fast and understand it, and then constantly go back and learn those as you develop your business, because it's always going to change. So what you know today is going to be different 10 years down the road, right?
Yeah,
So understand the nuances of your business to help yourself be a better business owner and a manager.
that's great advice. Yeah.
And did you want one or two or
No,
four?
you can obviously no, you can add as many as you want.
And I would, as a business owner, you are also supposed to build the business, manage the company, work on the business, not in the business. So work yourself to know the key people that you need in your business, whether it's sales, a sales manager. For us, it's a construction manager, design manager, bookkeeper, any one of those positions. Know what they are for your business and hire people to do the job, because those are the parts that you are going to want to do because they're management roles. And so start finding out what those pieces are, hire people to fill those positions, and it allows you to work on your business.
Makes sense. That's really important, right? Like I guess, and especially when someone is starting a new business, that's something that no one knows, right? Like they at times feel like, okay, I know how to do this, but then there are areas that you don't know, right? Like hiring, like as you mentioned, like hiring the right people. I guess hiring is a very it's a crucial, like I can say maybe if not the most important, maybe the second most important aspect. I am not sure with the priority, but it's let's say one of those very important aspects that you have, and hiring the right people is a art in itself, right? Like I
Mm-hmm.
guess you have been doing that for years and you would be much better, but I think only time is a factor that can help you get better on that, because with every new hire you will get to learn out something new. You will get to know maybe something that you would have done better, or maybe your process should have been a bit better if let's say if it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Obviously if it works out, it's great, right? Like then there's nothing. But when it doesn't work out, that's when you learn that okay, maybe I should have a better sort of a questionnaire that I should have asked, which could have narrowed it down for them or for us. Because hiring is, I guess, essential for both of them, right? Like not just for the company who is hiring, but also the person who is being hired for, because at the end of the day, he's also making a conscious sort of a decision of joining an organization, learn, grow, everything. And if he's not getting the right place as well, it's not a good thing for him as well. So I treat it as, let's say, it's a very crucial thing for both of them. The one that is getting hired and the company that's hiring, and both of them have to understand and know where they're getting themselves into before taking that sort of a decision of joining each other.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Can I don't know what the other questions are, but I want to also touch on not so much for new business owners, but business owners that are established. And I want to touch on this for all industries that every business owner or people in their organization should be working with the high schools, education, co-op programs. They should be working with the co-ops teachers, the high schools in their area, the regions, and getting in front of the students to know that whether you're in manufacturing, you are in dental, that what are the opportunities they have to learn? Because the co-op teachers can share you information, but if they're going to hear it right from the business owners themselves or industry professionals, there's another opportunity to gain, the getting people into the right positions before they come out of high school. I myself spend a lot of time working with our local school associations, whether it be high school or colleges, and I spend a lot of time with them working on programs and helping the students just understand that for our side, for the construction industry, it's not just on the end of a shovel, or you're framing a house, or you're a drywall or a taper. You can also be an architect. You can be an interior designer. You could be an engineer. You could be a building inspector, work at the building department, zoning examiner, like there's so many different ways you could be involved in the industry, but they don't know it. And so I'm out there trying to push other industry professionals that are business owners to get involved with the schools to help children know, or at least plant a seed. Let them see and know what's out there. But it really comes from small business and small business ownerships to get out there and get involved.
Yeah, that's true. And I guess, right, like it starts from the school itself. So better the learning that they'll get initially, they'll be able to build, let's say, better things in the future.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool. So we have another sort of a part of the podcast where we ask the current guest a question that they would like to ask to the next guest. And that's the question that I got from the last guest, which I'll ask you. So the question goes as, if you're looking to start a business, what kind of things are you looking for that are going to tell you, is this a good idea to start this business or this is a bad idea?
So not in my industry or outside or in my
Doesn't
industry.
matter. Doesn't matter. Anything.
So the question is, what are the factors I would find that would be a good idea or a bad idea to start a business?
Yeah. If you have to start
Well,
anything.
okay, fair enough. So to me, the first thing is passion. Do you have a passion for what you want to start? And for me, my passion has always been in this industry, and so that's what keeps me going, gets me up, gets me moving, spending my time networking and building relationships, selling what we sell, building the homes we build, and working with the team I have. It starts with passion. If you are looking at starting a barber shop, but you really want to be working in automotive, and your passion is automotive, then don't start a barber shop. Follow your
So true.
passion.
So true. Great. So, like as I asked you a question for from one of the let's say previous guests, what's the one question that you would like me to ask the next one?
Interesting. I wasn't ready for that. I thought we were going to do that offline. Okay. Well, it would have been along the lines of passion because that's what I believe is the driver for any business owner. Um, Geez. Okay. So, um, dead silence coming, I can imagine.
No, that's cool. You
the
can take your
question.
time.
Okay. If you were going to start a business, doesn't have to be start. That's a tough one. Because the question you asked me is exactly what I would have wanted to ask. Seriously. And I know companies that have been built on not on passion, but they just wanted to start a company and they're not even there. They just hired the right people. The business is now a franchise and they are just, here's a good idea, let's just do that. And it worked.
Yeah,
It's great. And
yeah.
I know they're out there. Um, so the next guest coming on is going to be asked a question, and the question is, um, how do you how can you help the listeners know? I'm thinking about growth of the company, and I'm trying to spin that into a question. How can you? Okay, this is going to work along the lines of business plan. Um, how can okay? The question would be, how can you tell the listeners and or people who are going to start a new business to plan for growth,
Okay, okay,
right?
that's good. Yeah, like what are those
What
areas
advice
where
do
you
you
will
have?
yeah.
What advice do you have for the listeners to plan for growth?
So, so we have this noted out, and this is going to be the question for our next guest. So thanks a lot for that.
Yeah,
Uh, this basically covers all the questions and the things that we had in mind for the podcast. So thanks a lot for taking all the time and sharing all these insights. I definitely think that everyone would really love this. Uh, before I'll just need a minute for you to record this. Like it basically will take in everything. So just bear with me for a second.
yeah.
Cool. So we are good uh, with the recording. We have the recording is complete. So that's great. Thanks a lot for your time once again. So basically, what we'll do is we'll work on the editing as I mentioned. I'll obviously share an email with you for some more details, and once
Yeah.
it's ready, I'll share the link with you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for
Well,
your time.
thank you for reaching out to me, and it was nice meeting you.
Same here. Likewise.
Okay.
Thanks a lot for your time. Have a good
Okay.
day. Bye bye.
Bye.